This is Math 2, 10.6 notes. That is Math 2, Unit 10, Lesson 6. The title is Alternate Forms of Quadratic Functions and the Zero Product Property. Okay, so we're going to talk about the two forms that we've worked with so far, standard form and vertex form, and what the difference is when one is nicer than the other. Y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. That is your standard form, and this form is really nice when you're looking for, let's write that down, when we are looking for the y-intercept. When you're looking for the y-intercept. Okay, so y-intercept is when we want to use this one here, and I'll explain why. And there will be a test question where they ask you what this form is nice for, and it's nice again when you're looking for the y-intercept. So we've talked about this in class. X-intercept, you make y 0. For y-intercept, you make x equal to 0. And if you were to do that here, let's come up with a standard form function. Y equals 2x squared plus 7x minus 5. So let's say that's a function I'm giving you, and I asked you to find the y-intercept. And we find the y-intercept by making x equal to 0. So y equals 2 times 0 squared is 0, plus 7 times 0 minus 5. 0 plus 0 minus 5 is just negative 5. Now, a lot of kids will just say, well, I don't need to show all that work because 0, 0, negative 5, it's just my last number. So standard form is really nice if you're looking for the y-intercept, because you just have to look at the last constant that has no variable, and that is your y-intercept. Okay, vertex form, y equals a times x minus h squared plus k. I like this if I'm graphing because it's really nice if you're looking for the vertex. Now, I'm going to write the word vertex. We'll talk about this, and then I'm going to change the word a little bit because they are going to use a different word on the test. Okay, so if we're looking for the vertex, so let's take a look at one. Y equals 3 times x minus 7, quantity squared, minus 5. Some kids will look at this and say, oh, the y-intercept is the last number, it's negative 5. That is not true. Don't ever make that mistake. It's only the last number when it's in expanded form, the standard form. This number here is not the y-intercept. You'd have to plug in 0, minus 7, square it, times 3, subtract 5. It's a lot more of a process. Okay, vertex, though, we know it's opposite of the inside. Outside stays the same, so the vertex is 7, negative 5. All right. The reason this is really nice is, let's just talk about this. This is a parabola that's opening up. The vertex is 7, negative 5. If they asked what's your maximum or minimum value, you would say it's negative 5. So this vertex form is really nice if you are looking for the max or minimum value. All right, so if they ask for the max or the minimum value, it's the outside number. Still the outside number, like the earlier one, it is negative 5. Okay, we will work more with these type as we go through this unit. Okay, next we're going to talk about the zero product property. Zero product property. What is it? What does it mean? How are we going to use it? Okay. Zero product property states if A times B equals 0, then either A equals 0 or b equals 0. If the product of any two numbers is 0, then one of the numbers must be 0. That's just the way zero product property works. The same is true if I'm multiplying three numbers, a times b times c equals 0, then either a equals 0, b equals 0, or c equals 0. They do not all have to equal 0. They can, but they do not all have to be 0. As long as one of them is 0, then the whole thing is going to be 0. All right, so how do we use the zero product property? We are going to, I'm going to bubble this in. Okay, we are going to use the zero product property to solve. Use the zero product property to solve. All right, number 1, parentheses 4m minus 5 times the quantity of 3m plus 12 equals 0. All right, we have this equation and we're trying to solve. What we are going to do is use a zero product property. So think of this whole chunky piece, we've talked about factors before. Think of this factor as a and this factor as b. A times b equals 0. That means one of these factors must be 0. 4m minus 5 must equal 0, or 3m plus 12 must equal 0. One of them have to be 0. Okay, and that's it. You just solve. Solve the way we've always solved. Plus 5, gone. 4m equals 5. Divide by 4. M equals a fraction of 5/4. Okay, this one, subtract 12. 3m equals negative 12. Divide by 3 on both sides. M equals, oh, excuse me, m equals negative 4. All right, and that there are your two solutions. So when we get into class, we're going to do some check work here. We'll do that in class. Okay, so the check work is checking these answers to verify that they really do work. So how would you write this as your solution? I'm running out of room, so I'm going to squeeze it right in here. M equals 5/4, comma, negative 4. Do not put parentheses around it because that means it's an ordered pair. This is not. These are two separate m values, not an x comma y value. All right, we'll check that in class. Okay, moving along. Number 2, negative 5x times the quantity of x minus 7 equals 0. Now, again, think of this as the a times b equals 0. I put parentheses there. They weren't there originally, but you can think of it there. That chunk times that chunk. Again, the parentheses are not necessary, but you can put them. Okay, so we're going to break it up. A must equal 0, so negative 5x must equal 0, or x minus 7 must equal 0. One of them must equal 0. Divide by negative 5. Divide by negative 5. Gone. X equals 0. Here we add 7 to both sides. 0 plus 7 is 0. X equals 7. X equals 0, comma 7. Do not put parentheses. It is not an ordered pair. Okay, let's try another one. Number 3. W squared minus 5w minus 14 equals 0. All right, now do you see how this looks different from the last two that we did? What you have to do here is factor first. When it's in expanded form or standard form, you're going to want to factor it first. Okay, so we've spent a whole unit on the last unit factoring. W times W is W squared. We know it's a plus, we know it's a minus. List all your factors of 14, 1 and 14, 2 and 7. It looks like 2 and 7 is going to work. I'm going to make this 7 negative and the 2 positive, and check it. 2W and negative 7W adds up to the negative 5W. It works. This is not your answer. We are not done. If it was just a factoring unit, we'd be done. But they're asking us to solve, so we need to use the zero product property, which means W plus 2 equals 0, or W minus 7 equals 0. And we solve. Subtract the 2, add the 7. W equals negative 2, comma 7. Do not put parentheses. It is not an ordered pair. All right, let's try another one. Number 4, 7n squared plus 16n plus 15 equals 2n squared plus 3. All right. Now, in order to use a zero product property, everything must equal 0. So I'm going to move everything to one side. It doesn't matter which way you move. I'm going to move to the left because I'd like my leading coefficient to be positive when I'm factoring. And if I moved the 7 this way, that would make it negative. So it's gone here. 7 take away 2 is 5. So I have 5n squared plus 16n plus 15 equals 3. And now I'm going to subtract the 3. Where's 3's like term? It's with the 15. The 16n did not have a like term, and that's okay. 5n squared plus 16n plus 12 equals 0. All right, I'm going to have you guys finish this one on your own. Double bubble, factor and solve. And number 5, I'm going to have you try on your own, and we'll check back in class. Number 5 is 3x squared equals negative x. So what you're doing is finishing number 4 and trying number 5, and we'll discuss it in class. That is it for this lesson.